University in Kenya. Further, he holds a PhD in parasitology and entomology from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. And he has really published a lot. He has over 50 peer-reviewed journals from his research work. His areas of interest has been on leishmaniasis, malaria vector control and treatment. You also have higher education systems and poverty alleviation. Most of his articles are more into those areas. So Professor Ngure also has successfully secured, managed, and overseen major international research and capacity building grants from leading group of funders like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Wellcome Trust, amongst many more. Additionally, in terms of his supervision, so far he has supervised over 70 students, about 72 master students, and about 6 PhD candidates. And this has really contributed to the development of African next generation of scholars and readers. Professor Ngure is also a member of the KNS, that's the Kenya National Academy of Sciences. He's a founder member of Global Young Academy. He's a founder member of the Private Universities Research Consortium of Kenya. He's also a member of the Kenya Palliative Care Association. And I think this is where now he comes in from to give us a talk on this. So he has also been in various bodies like KEMRI boards, human resource committees, secretary of Kata boards, amongst many more. The CV is quite rich, so I think I'll stop you there. And now I'll come to you so that I'll request you to join me in welcoming him to be our first keynote speaker for today. I think, Prof, if you are hearing us.
Yes, I hope I'm clear.
The stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Shall we welcome him by a hearty clap?
Thank you very much, the moderator for the day. Congratulations for organizing the 3rd International Multidisciplinary Conference with very, very relevant themes. I was looking at the program, a very rich and well thought out program with powerful topics and interactions. And this being the 3rd day, I'm sure that you've made a lot of progress in the right direction. I'm joined by my wife, Dr. Jane Ngure, who will be moving the slides. To save on time, I'll read out the speech that is the longer version of the slides that we'll be seeing, and I hope they are all visible. The topic for the day is social, emotional, and mental health, and I've titled it The Missing Foundation of Sustainable Development in Africa. I'm joining you from the UNESCO headquarters in Paris. I would have loved to be there in person so that I can be able to greet and hug people and encourage students and emerging scholars, and also just update myself on how Kisii University is emerging. To the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ongechi, distinguished scholars, policymakers, practitioners, students, ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege to join you today to discuss a topic that is increasingly defining the future of our societies, yet remains insufficiently addressed in our development conversations: social, emotional well-being, and mental health. For decades, development has been measured through economic growth, infrastructure, educational attainment, and health indicators. These remain important. However, we are increasingly recognizing a profound reality, and that is, sustainable development is not only about society's build, but also about the emotional, psychological, and social well-being of the people who inhabit it. Today, I wish to argue that mental health is not merely a health issue. It is a development issue, a human rights issue, an educational issue, an economic issue, and ultimately a sustainability issue. Allow me to give you the basic definitions of social emotional health and mental health. Social emotional health refers to our ability to understand and manage emotions, build meaningful relationships, demonstrate empathy, make reasonable decisions, and cope effectively with life's challenges. On the other hand, mental health is a state of well-being in which individuals realize their potential. Individuals realize their potential, manage normal life stresses. Life is full of stresses. Work productively, as me and you are doing this morning, learn effectively, and contribute positively to their communities. These concepts are deeply interconnected. The person who develops resilience, self-awareness, empathy, and social skills is better positioned to maintain positive mental health. Conversely, untreated mental health challenges often undermine social functioning, educational attainment, workplace performance, and community participation. In other words, social emotional well-being forms the foundation upon which mental health is built. Let's now consider mental health as a development imperative. When discussing the Sustainable Development Goals, which of course in the next 3 to 4 years will become obsolete, we often focus on infrastructure, technology, climate resilience, and economic growth. Yet mental health cuts across virtually every SDG. Mental health is directly reflected in several SDGs. If you're familiar with the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, mental health affects SDG number 3, which has to do with good health and well-being, SDG number 4, which speaks to quality education, SDG number 5, which speaks to gender equality, SDG number 8, that speaks to decent work and economic growth, SDG number 10, that talks about reduced inequalities, and SDG number 16, which has to do with peace, justice, and strong institutions. I'm emphasizing these 6 SDGs and not diminishing the importance of the other Sustainable Development Goals, because essentially, if you look at all the 17, there is some inclination for mental health to affect them. A learner struggling with depression may fail to complete their education. An entrepreneur experiencing severe anxiety may struggle to sustain a business. A community affected by trauma and social exclusion may find it difficult to build social cohesion and peaceful institutions. Mental health, therefore, influences human capability, productivity, innovation, social participation, and national development. At the same time, development challenges such as poverty, unemployment, inequality, displacement, conflict, and social exclusion significantly contribute to mental distress. So the two are really related. This creates a dual relationship. Poor mental health hinders development, while poor development outcomes worsen mental health. How serious is the problem? The evidence is sobering. Globally, nearly 1 in 7 people lives with a mental disorder. 1 in 7 people live with a mental disorder. Depression and anxiety have become among the leading causes of disability worldwide. The economic consequences are enormous. Mental health conditions cost the global economy more than 4% of the global GDP through lost productivity, healthcare expenditures, unemployment, absenteeism, and social disruption. But beyond the statistics lies a human story. Mental health challenges affect individuals, they affect families, they affect institutions, and entire societies. Let's now consider the African reality. The challenge is particularly acute across Africa, our continent. Approximately 150 million Africans live with mental health conditions. This figure Whereas it sounds high, my opinion is that it could easily be an underestimation of the situation because most of the mental health challenges go undiagnosed or unnoticed. The regional suicide rate remains among the highest globally, while this is exacerbated by the wide treatment gaps, frequently exceeding 75%. So we are talking of a major challenge. And yet, on the other hand, the sad story is that 75% of the cases go undiagnosed, and even if they are diagnosed, they are untreated. Many countries have fewer than 2 mental health professionals per 100,000 people. People who are well trained to handle this. If you have 2 for every 100,000, it's like you have almost nobody to help you deal with it professionally. Depression, anxiety disorders, substance use, trauma-related disorders, and emotional distress are becoming increasingly common. Yet mental health remains one of the most underfunded sectors within public health system. This mismatch between need and investment represents one of the most significant public health and development challenges facing the continent. Let's now consider our own country, Kenya. Kenya reflects many of the realities observed across Africa. Mental health conditions affect a substantial proportion of the population. Depression, anxiety disorders, substance use disorders, and suicide are increasingly reported across age groups. However, the greatest challenge is not necessarily prevalence alone. The greatest challenge is access. Many Kenyans experiencing mental health difficulties never receive a diagnosis. Many never receive a treatment. Mental health services remain concentrated majorly in urban areas, leaving those of you or those of us living in rural areas and marginalized communities underserved. Young people, women, persons with disability, and vulnerable populations often face multiple barriers, including cost, stigma, and lack of specialized services. Why is the situation worsening? Several factors are converging to create unprecedented psychological pressure. Allow me to pick one very sensitive age group, the young people. It's tough to be a young person. It's tough to be a Gen Z. It's tough to be 40 and below in Kenya and generally in Africa, because on a day-to-day basis, young people are now very well schooled, but they face very high levels of unemployment. There is intense academic competition. A few years ago, when some of us graduated, to have a bachelor's degree was sufficient. Today, even PhDs walk around without jobs, and everybody is struggling and competing. There is economic uncertainty. People are very broke. There is family instability. There are many pressures. Social media has put a lot of pressure on us. Facebook for the old guys, Instagram for the newer people. Rising expectations and limited opportunities. Because of this, although we are very noisy and very active in all these platforms, many experience loneliness on a day-to-day basis. These pressures have created what some scholars describe as a silent epidemic of emotional distress. The challenge is not confined to any single generation, profession, or social class. One reason progress remains slow is what I call the silo problem. Health systems operate separately from other systems. Yet, as a result, individuals often fall through the cracks in institutions. Mental health requires coordinated, whole-of-society approaches. A cross-sector collaboration is no longer optional. It is mandatory. So then, are we facing a desperate situation? Probably not. I want to take you now to making a few suggestions of what we should ideally do. And number one, as a government, as a people, We need to integrate mental health into national development planning. Mental health must be embedded within national development strategies, public health systems, and budget frameworks. Mental health services should be accessible, affordable, community-based, and integrated into primary healthcare. Mental health should no longer be treated as a secondary priority. It must become a core component of development planning. Number two, we need to transform schools and universities. Education institutions like the great Kisii University must move beyond academic achievement alone. We must strengthen the following. Number one, counseling services, psychological support system, social-emotional learning, peer support mechanisms, and early identification of programs. University, therefore, should become centers of both intellectual and emotional developments. Students cannot thrive academically if they are struggling psychologically. Number three, we need to mobilize communities, families, faith communities, cultural institutions, and civil society organizations play a critical role. These communities can, among other things, reduce stigma, promote resilience, encourage help-seeking behavior, provide social support, foster belonging and connectedness. Community engagement remains one of Africa's greatest strengths and must be leveraged more effectively. Number four, generate African-centered knowledge. Africa cannot rely solely on imported models of mental health care. Our researchers must continue producing culturally relevant evidence and interventions that reflect African realities. We need research that addresses, among others, these four major issues. Number one, the local context. For example, what is the context in Kisii, Nyamira, Kisumu County, Migori, etc.? We should appreciate our indigenous knowledge systems and the benefits that accrue from it. Community resilience practices also need to be tapped into in terms of them being utilized to help us mitigate the challenges that we are facing. We should also apply and appreciate cultural approaches to healing and support. African solutions then must complement global knowledge. Number five, address the social determinants. Mental health interventions alone are insufficient. We must also address the underlying drivers of emotional distress. Let's address poverty. Let's address unemployment. Let's address inequality. Let's address social exclusion. Let's address insecurity. Investment in youth empowerment, social protection, and economic opportunity is simultaneously an investment in mental health. Number six, build compassionate leadership. Perhaps most importantly, we need leaders who understand that development is ultimately about people. That university you're in, or the institution you've come from, was built using billions. And it was not just about PhDs and masters and other things. It's about people. The leadership of Kisii University and other universities should put people at the center of their agenda. Compassionate leadership recognizes that human well-being is not a peripheral concern. It is the foundation upon which sustainable societies are built. As I come to a close, I want to make some few suggestions of the role of university policymakers and practitioners. Universities must lead through research, innovation, training, implementation science, and community engagement. On the other hand, policymakers must provide the financing, the regulation, the coordination, and accountability. Practitioners and civil society organizations must deliver services, advocate for change, and implement evidence-based interventions at the community level. None of these actors can succeed alone. Together, however, they can transform the mental health landscape across Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, the central message I wish to leave with you today is simple. There can be no sustainable development without social, emotional well-being and mental health. Let us therefore commit ourselves to placing mental health where it belongs, at the center of our development agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Ngure. You have managed the time very well, and you have also presented your paper very well, and we are glad. We just want to appreciate the presentation as we get into engaging him with one or two concerns. 1, 2, 3. Thank you for good presentation. Right now, I want to open this to the audience so that they can, if there's an issue that you, or a contribution you want to make to this particular discussion on socio-emotional mental health issues. Now, I want to open it to all of us so that we can be able to engage. And those who are in the diaspora online, please, shall you be able, are you getting us? Are you with us? Can I hear a chorus voice?
Yes, we are. It's very clear.
Thank you. Shall we clap for the online audience? Thank you very much. So, Professor Ngure, a quick one from me is, why mental health now? As I grew up, it was not an issue. And yet, if it is a matter of wealth and riches and education, it was still very minimal. Today, that wealth is grown, education is grown. We have a very talented generation that should be able to surmount this particular challenge. But why is it becoming intense? Before you respond to that, let me pick two more from my right and from my left so that we can be able to engage. And also from the diaspora, from the online, please, you will raise up your hand and I'll be able to give you an opportunity to say something. Yes, number one from my sister there.
Okay, good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for the good presentation. My concern is on issues that are emanating from digital spaces. Remember, mental health is affecting our youth, and we have realized there is a high cases of mental health that are emanating from online bullying. I have a question. What are the possible measures that have been put in place to curb such issues? Thank you so much.
I hope, Professor, you have gotten that concern. Number two, yes, let me hear it from my sister from Nigeria.
Yeah, thank you very much for a wonderful lecture. Just as you have said, Prof, a large percentage of people with mental health issues are in our communities, in our villages, and it has gone undetected. In a situation like this, where the rising population is coming up with mental health issues, what parameters are we putting in place in Africa to make sure that those in the hinterlands, those in the communities who don't have access to hospitals, have access to psychologists to be able to detect what is wrong with them, what measures are we putting to make sure that they too receive a whole lot of access to be able to reach people who will talk to them about this, who will kind of tell them that this is what is going on. Most people are going through it. They don't even know that it's a mental health issue. So what do we do? What parameters do we put in place to be able to educate those in the villages? Not only those who are educated and those who are wealthy, those who don't know they have these mental health issues. What do we do to sensitize them that this is an issue, and what do we put in place to make sure that we ameliorate these issues? Thank you very much.
She's just saying you are sick and you don't know you are sick. So how do we create that awareness? How do we tell them, if you see these symptoms, know that you are sick? Yes, Daktari.
Thank you very much. Now, I also want to appreciate Professor Ngure for his presentation. And there is something he emphasized, that universities should really come up with more meaningful teaching, engaging mental health. Now, we have goals of education in Kenya. And out of the goals of education, that is also where we develop our curricula for various stages of learning. Why can't we also coin something and add to our goals of education something around mental health, so that it can be cascaded down to the various levels of learning in our syllabus?
Thank you. How do we integrate this concept in the education system from very, very, very beginning, to the highest? How do we do that? Yes, I hope, Professor, you are noting down. We are hearing it from Dr. Sophie.
Yes, thank you, Professor Ngure. I'm asking, like they say that from 40 below, but I'm seeing most of the mental cases is from 50 and above. For example, single mothers, single men, those who have their wife has left them, they're also suffering. That which measure can we help also to this category? Because this category cannot even join the university, because they that when they are university can perform for learning. And this one, people are staying at home and they are just there. Even poor can make you to be mental cases. What measures can we help these people?
Thank you. She's doing a comparative, the ages below 40 and above 40. Probably you will also respond, where does the weight lean to? And yet attend to them, all of them. Which one? How do we attend to those who are above and those ones who are below? Let me pick one more from the online. Online, an opportunity for you. Anybody who has a concern for Professor Ngure over the discussions that he has presented this morning? All right, Professor, back to you. In that order, the way you have noted them down, kindly respond, and we'll really appreciate. Back to you.
Thank you, moderator. Thank you so much, moderator. Wow. 6 tough questions. And I wouldn't pretend to have all the answers, because as I said, mental health challenges have not been fully given the attention that it deserves. And as we ask these questions, we are pointing ourselves to the many opportunities that you and me and others have to turn around the situation. Why mental health now? The moderator asked. Now, the realities of life today is such that there's a lot of competition. And for some very mysterious reasons, people have become less resilient. People have a negative attitude to work. People want to be known, they want to be popular. I would call it heroism. And when they miss out on the attention, when they miss out on the opportunities, when they work so hard and are not properly compensated, they get into loneliness. Loneliness grows into anxiety. Anxiety develops into stress. Stress takes you to depression. And God forbid, depression, if not managed, results to suicide. That, in my opinion, is part of the answer as to why mental health has become much, much more in our society today. Online bullying, a very common phenomenon. Here, I would answer it and say, we need to provide more policies. We need to punish people who bully, because we need to consider it at the same level as assault. If you hit somebody in a street and you are reported to the next police station, you'll be arrested and you'll be dealt with, and you can pay dearly. You can be jailed, fined, incarcerated. Similarly, those bullying others online should not go unattended. But I think there's a challenge of positive identification in terms of knowing who did what, and if you know there are cases of fake accounts, etc. But that does not allow us at all to bully others. How about communities? There is so much mental health challenges in communities, and you've said it is a silent pandemic. And access to diagnosis, access to help is limited. But here I would suggest that we enhance the role of the community itself, make the community resilient. Most of our communities have very powerful churches. Every corner of every village has churches. How about building the capacity of churches and mosques and other worship areas to be able to help people to meet this? Although I would also want to say that the church has directly and indirectly helped to mitigate it through prayers, through fellowship, through company, through helping people physically, coming through families when they are in distress. I think without the church and mosques, the situation would be worse. Think about enhancing peer education. And peer education should start as early as in primary school, junior secondary, all the way up, so that everybody coming through will have some good measure of knowledge, and then a good proportion of us should be able to offer first aid and be able to take people to the next level. At the same time, there should be sensitization. We should not look at mental health as a curse. We should not look at it as witchcraft, etc. What should universities do? Here, I'm tempted to think about mainstreaming of mental health in our curricula. During my 30-year experience, I've seen, or those days when you are at the peak of HIV and AIDS. HIV and AIDS was a course, 1-2 credits, depending on the university, that was offered to every student. We have not fully overcome HIV and AIDS. But if you were to borrow that and also look at what happened in entrepreneurship when we needed to train people in entrepreneurship, and also what also happened in things of climate resilience and environmental science, we have been responsive to the emerging needs. And it's just time for us now to craft a simple but detailed course on social, emotional, and mental well-being. And here we're not just talking about when things have gone south. We are also encouraging the curriculum to appreciate the positive side of it. My wife is a PhD in counseling psychology, and I hear her talking about positive psychology. Can you be able to make people have a sense of hope? Can you point them? Can you guide them? Can you mentor them? Can you make them feel valued? How about the question of the prevalence of mental health? One speaker there has suggested that the gentlemen and ladies 50 and above, single mothers, single fathers, really stay-at-home people are really suffering. I've already mentioned that loneliness by itself is a mental health challenge, and I've already explained the path from loneliness to anxiety, to stress, to depression, to suicide. We should be able to look out for them. Our government is taking care of old people. How about coming up with programs to take care of those who have mental health challenges? Reach out to them, provide the necessary support, help them transition. When you're down with a mental health condition, it's difficult. It may push you out of your job. It may push you out of farming. And at that point, you are very vulnerable. How about coming up with community-based programs that help people to transition until they are back on their own feet? In summary, I'm proposing here that there's so much that we can do. And we should not just say Serikali's idea. You and me who are in this conference and many others, those of you in leadership, this is an opportunity for you to encourage your institutions to be the champion, be the mental health champion, have a mentor or a well-being department. Sometimes when you use the word mentor, people become a bit reluctant to come up. Let's talk about well-being. If there's a department for well-being at Kisii, everybody will be there. I've seen my wife do a lot of guidance and counseling, helping students to perform better, set targets. You don't have to wait until things have gone south, as I said earlier on. Start early, create structures, provide safe spaces for people to share, and do many more things. Invest. Human resources, invest capital, invest infrastructure, invest even in sports facilities. Sometimes our universities and institutions have very limited sports facilities to the extent that probably 10% or less of students are the ones engaging. Provide alternatives, but Mindor, for example, does not need a whole major field for you to have people playing and enjoying themselves. Thank you very much. Moderator, I'll beg to move in the next 4 minutes. I was supposed to be hosting the Minister for Culture from Hungary. It's been really a pleasure, and I wish you the very best. Thank you very much, and special recognition to Dr. Samuel Mungare. I supervised his PhD. I'm very proud of what he's doing at Kisii and beyond. Please take care of good care of him, and thank you for inviting me. And let me know also how we can work with Kisii. Your Vice Chancellor, I met him some time ago, and we recently got a unity in program for Kisii, which is a big thing. So you have a UNESCO chair there. We can do much more as I serve you and our good country here at UNESCO. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and bye.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor. We lack words to appreciate you, but we want to give you a 5 factorial just to tell you you have done it very, very well, very, very well. And we are going to pick it from there, starting with ourselves and then extending it to our neighbors, to our families, to our village, and to the entire country. 5 factorials. 1, 2, 3. Thank you for getting time to come in and being able to share with us. Our regards to your dear wife who has been scrolling the screen for you, and many others. We are very, very grateful. Please share with the rest, and we want to say Kisii University is still open for you. Do a physical visit in person, and we will be more encouraged. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I think the session has been very fast. He has moved very fast, but quite rich. He has left us with a lot of areas to further the readings, to further research, and such like. I will leave it there. And it looks like our program then brings us to the second keynote speaker. I would want to be guided if he's also available. The next keynote speaker, I would really appreciate. I will really be very, very much. Now, while we are doing that, we can go commercial a bit. If you are in here and your first day, you have just reported. We have been on since 9th, yesterday, and today being our final day. And you're saying, I'm here. I would want also to my visibility. I want to make people know that I'm around. Just raise up your hand. I'll give you a mic just to introduce yourself. Kindly. Yes, I see 2 friends of mine there. am I seeing you for the first day? Just feel free to greet us, even if it's your second day. Just respond to my... even Dr. Yambo?
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Kobingi Nyakea. This is not my first time. I was here even yesterday.
Oh,
I'm from Kemfree.
Thank you. Shall we welcome you? Dr. Yambo, it said that you are visiting. You were here yesterday, I saw you presented
He never
a
introduced
paper.
himself.
Yeah, he did introduce himself. The chairman is demanding that you introduce yourself.
Because of public demand,
Yes.
I'm Dr. John Yambo, Chairman IAPE Ed4 Department, Kisii University. I presented yesterday, but it was a topic in religion, because I'm also a religion major.
Thank you.
He's a student in religion.
Thank you. We need that religion for mental health, very seriously. When I was growing up, they said everybody is mad, except the degree differs. And I think this process, all people are sick mentally, but the degree varies. Yeah, I think so. So we need to pick it from there, so that we are able. Now with me, allow me to bring the moderator of this second session of the keynote speaker, and that is Dr. Liz Buyeke, who is coming to now introduce the speaker, who is going to handle digital platforms as strategic coordination tools, how shared dashboards enable a constrained cross-border knowledge arbitrage. Let's put our hands together for Dr. Liz. Welcome.
Thank you so much, our MC. Good morning, our distinguished colleagues. I take this opportunity to appreciate our University Management Board for the leadership for this conference and making it a reality. And I do not forget the committee also that tirelessly worked to see us on this day 3. To our keynote speakers who have challenged us, day 1, day 2, and even this morning, the one who was just spoken, Professor Ngure, we say thank you, and we continue being challenged. And to all our delegates here, both who are on virtually and also in person, let's continue, and we still welcome you for this day 3. This honor, allow me to pass it to my colleague, Dr. Kisii, who will introduce our next keynote speaker, Dr. Rehema Namono. This is because they worked closely together, and he can attest to the work that she has done. So kindly, Dr. Kisii, come forward for the introduction. Thank you.
Protocol of staff, good morning. Sorry, there's something I was sorting out. My name is Dr. Kisii, as you've heard from my colleague, Dr. Liz. At this juncture, allow me to introduce our next keynote speaker. That is none other than Dr. Rehema Namono from Makerere University, Uganda. Dr. Namono is an accomplished academic researcher and management scholar with extensive experience in teaching, research, mentorship, and leadership. She holds a PhD in business management from Moi University, Kenya, MBA from Islamic University in Uganda, and also a first-class bachelor's degree from Kampala International University. She lectures at Makerere University Business School and serves as a research coordinator and consultant at Kampala International University. Her expertise spans in strategic management, organizational development, innovation, HR, and research methodology. A prolific author, as well as conference presenter. She also chairs board of PAL Technologies and is deeply committed to mentorship, research training, and community engagement. Members, let's welcome Dr. Rehema Namono by 3 artic claps as she comes. 1, 2, 3. I'll explain 3 why after the presentation. Welcome, Dr. Namono.
Thank you so much, the organizers of this conference. Thank you so much for enabling me to come and give this important keynote speak address. The Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor, the faculty members, the industry leaders, the distinguished guests, scholars, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. Okay, it is a profound honor to stand before you at this prestigious 3rd International Multidisciplinary Conference, which theme is Reimagining Inclusive and Borderless Knowledge through Global Health and Stable Sustainable Development. So our major question is, how do we live to this theme? We are living in an era where knowledge is power. For decades, manufacturing firms have always focused on directing their factories where cheap labor is. But currently, things have changed. Knowledge is power. So we are focusing currently on how do we access knowledge? How do we get knowledge? So, in our presentation today, we are going to focus my speech on the approach, the fundamental approach of tapping knowledge. And our theme is going to look at digital platforms as strategic coordination tools. Yes, and our third theme will be how shared dashboards specifically enable or constrain cross-border knowledge arbitrage. So, as I have earlier emphasized, that currently the frontier has shifted from cheap labor to the most valuable commodity, which is knowledge. And the power of knowledge has brought firms to achieve competitive advantage across borders because of the ability to access knowledge. And the ability to access knowledge across borders is what we are calling cross-border knowledge arbitrage. So the modern competitive advantage belongs to organizations that master cross-border knowledge arbitrage. which is the ability of the organizations to capture knowledge or opportunities in one part of the world and leverage that knowledge quickly and adapt it to profit from that knowledge elsewhere. I'll share with you a simple example. There is one professor in Uganda who developed a vaccine called Covidix. That is during the COVID-19 outbreak. And the way how swiftly the information moved across the world, and that professor was able to profit from that vaccine because of cross-border knowledge arbitrage. If I'm not mistaken, even here in Kenya, we are aware of Covidix, which was manufactured by one of the professors in one of the public universities in Uganda. Yeah, if I can ask a question, take an example. Currently, we are at a threat of Ebola in Uganda. And one of the researchers from a public university or a university in Uganda develops a vaccine against Ebola. How swift can that knowledge reach ministerial organizations or the required audience for that information? I am sure we shall all think about publishing such information. Yes, where should I get that information? Then we shall begin thinking of the links where we can get that information. And that is none other than the dashboards that organizations use to share information. And such information will swiftly cross borders. And definitely that product will be used. So, at the center of the ability to leverage information in modern organizations is the central aspect of digital platforms and coordination tools. So, our theme today is going to be on how shared dashboards enable or constrain cross-border knowledge arbitrage. So we are going to center our discussion on shared dashboards. How do they strategically push information across borders, having appreciated that information is the power? Yes, so we need the knowledge and to leverage that knowledge to achieve competitive advantage. So, what are these digital platforms? We shall appreciate how organizations, more so how are universities leveraging these digital platforms to acquire knowledge and use the powerful resource, which is the knowledge. So digital platforms are programmable digital transactions and the exchange of information, resources, and services among multiple users, usually through digital technologies and networked environment. So organizations have since used these digital platforms to share knowledge across borders. So in university settings at large, digital platforms have enabled teaching, more so teaching online, which we have currently evidenced since the emergence or the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Then universities have since also leveraged digital platforms for online learning. Yes, and we have just had our, the speaker who has just finished presenting has presented online, and that means we are leveraging online learning to get the knowledge, which is our key resource. But the question is, how do we share that knowledge using the digital platforms? Yes, universities have also used the digital platforms for data collection, and we shall appreciate some of the tools that universities are using to analyze data, to collect data, and even disseminate the research output. We have used dissemination outlets like publishing houses, where we publish our research work in various journals, on university websites, for the target audience to get access to this powerful resource, which is knowledge. Yes, so let us think of digital platforms like Google Scholar. The Google Scholar is used by millions of scholars to share research knowledge in form of publications, in form of periodicals, which have ultimate benefits like increasing visibility of universities. Yes, then we can think of digital platforms that are used by researchers, which we have perchance used some of them, like the SurveyMonkey. SurveyMonkey is an online survey design and administration, which we have at least used when it comes to our research or conducting field surveys. Then we also have digital platforms like the Google Forms, which is an online platform for survey questionnaire and survey tools like online interviews. Universities also leverage the Kobo Toolbox, which is an online digital platform for collecting survey data. Yes, and this has, of course, enabled knowledge sharing in universities, because the information that you give in the form of survey is the knowledge that organizations need. We have had powerful companies, powerful multinational corporations collect data using online digital platforms to make informed organizational decisions. For a company to make a decision whether to increase productivity, whether to strategize and modify its products, purely depends on its ability to collect data from their customers, to understand what customers really need. Then researchers also use digital tools like Open Data Kit, which is a mobile data collection platform also for field surveys. And this has enabled information sharing for the organizations to make strategic organizational decisions. Then we also have research management and grant tracking platforms that help to manage grant progress and even full research cycle. For example, we have PURE, which is an Elsevier platform, which is an institutional research information system that tracks the publications, and even the progress of the researcher outputs. For example, when you write a paper, of course, the dissemination of this knowledge is in these publishing houses, which we submit via their digital platforms now, like the Elsevier, which I am hinting you about. When you want to know the progress of how your paper is moving, you don't need to call the editor. You don't need to write an email to the editor. What is important is to go on the dashboard, to go on their online platform and check the progress of your paper. And that means that that platform is a digital platform that has enabled the stakeholders to know the progress of their journal. Then we also look at the research fish, which tracks research outcomes. We also have the grants, or EU Horizon, which tracks international research grants that are submitted, the grants that are successful. All these are digital platforms that are leveraged by researchers to ensure that knowledge is shared. Then we have reference management and literature review platforms, digital platforms that are used. We have the Zotero. Zotero is an open source which is used for citation. We also have reference management digital platforms like the EndNote. EndNote, which is an online platform which manages publications, editing, and citation management. All these are online platforms that are used by researchers to share knowledge. We have academic publishing and repository platforms that are used to share knowledge. We have African Journals Online, which is an East African platform for publishing and indexing. And perhaps some of us may be familiar with these African Journal online platforms. There are very many. And they are platforms that are used for knowledge sharing. Then the one which we all know is the ResearchGate. The ResearchGate is an academic or a social network for sharing papers and tracking our citations. It's a very important digital platform for scholars who write and publish their work so that it can be shared on a global basis. Then we also have academia. Academia is a research sharing and visibility platform which is used in academia by researchers to publish research projects. Then we also have statistical analysis digital platforms, which we may all be aware of. We can know SPSS, the Statistical Package for Social Sciences, which is a platform for data analysis to create meaning out of the data that has been collected. Then we also have data analytical platforms like Stata, Python, and NVivo. NVivo is used for analysis of qualitative data. Okay. Then we also have ethical and research compliance platforms. We have the UREC portal. That one is for us in Uganda. We have NACOST in Kenya. What I'm sure of is that you cannot collect data here in Kenya when you have not got permission from NACOSTI, when you're not authorized, you don't have an official letter to collect that data. And now this NACOSTI, as you are all aware, has its dashboard, which you track the progress of your certification. You don't need to go to the offices. They have online platforms which periodically updates you about the progress. I know NACOSTI were way back, over 7 years back, because I pursued my PhD from Kenya. That is specifically Moi University. That is how I came to know NACOSTI. Then we also have research, impact, and analytic digital platforms. And these ones I use to analyze the quality of research papers. We have Scopus. Scopus is an abstract and citation database which is used for benchmarking to know whether your paper is actually indexed in Scopus or not. Then we have the Web of Science. The Web of Science is a citation index for measuring the research quality. Then we also have the Almetric that measures the online attention and the social impact of your research, whether your research is actually making an impact to the community or not. Okay, let us introduce the concept of dashboard. As we earlier incited, that digital platforms are very broad, but organizations leverage dashboards to give real-time information to users. And the users use that information to also communicate back to the organization. So a dashboard is a visual interface that displays key metrics and key performance indicators in one place, and helping the users to monitor the performance and make informed decisions. The universities use dashboards, for instance, to update students about their progress in their academics. And as lecturers are aware of this, that even the results are uploaded on the students' portal, and the students use these dashboards to get timely information. And this also applies to staff in universities and even other organizations to get updated, to get up-to-date information about what is taking place in organizations. Yes. Now universities like this one must have a staff portal where a staff is even given real-time information about his or her biography. It even gives you information when you are expected to retire, when your leave is due, and staff leverage that information for their personal purpose. So dashboard pulls data from various sources in the organization, like spreadsheets, like databases, or even cloud tools, and presents it through an easy to understand chart. And it summarizes that information. If I may ask how you came to learn about this Kisii University Third International Multidisciplinary Conference, one of the avenues that majority of us could have learned about this conference is through the publication of the conference advert on the university website. Yes. And because of that information that we acquired through the university dashboard, we were able to respond. And now we are here attending the conference. So these shared dashboards provide up-to-date real-time data that are used by information users. So a shared dashboard is a more specific instrument, a real-time or a near real-time digital interface that aggregates, visualizes, and even communicates data or knowledge across multiple stakeholders simultaneously. And in case the advantage of shared dashboard is that any change which is made in the data or information, the users are updated instantly. So these shared dashboards provide real-time data or information. Dashboard, these are visual display of most important information that the organization shares to the target audience. So we have various dashboards in different disciplines, even in the health sector, like the clinical and health research dashboards, which tracks information from the clinical trial. And these clinical dashboards, like REDICAP, helps to share information or health information to multiple researchers and to monitor the study progress in real time. So REDICAP is used to monitor clinical research projects. Then we also have academic and research metrics dashboards. These ones visualizes publications and grants which have been written and submitted, as well as patents and submission metrics. And the academic and research metrics provide cross-institutional dashboards to track the research output. Okay, these shared dashboards can also include the benchling research dashboards. Benchling research dashboards monitor information or experiments specifically and project timelines. We also have survey and data collection dashboards that are also used equally to monitor the research progress and the experiments that are conducted. We also have the Open Science Framework. The Open Science Framework is the dashboard that tracks project contributions, whether your research project is actually increasing visibility or it is adding impact to society, and also for collaborations because it can be visible on the global scene. Yes, so shared dashboards help to increase knowledge transparency because this information, once it is posted on the dashboards, it can be accessed by readers. And of course, that is the power of knowledge. Now, the question comes, what is cross-border knowledge arbitrage? We want to appreciate the power of cross-border knowledge arbitrage so that we can appreciate the value of the strategic platforms, the strategic digital platforms. These digital platforms are strategic because they enable the organization to leverage information to leverage knowledge to profit the organization or to achieve a competitive advantage. So knowledge arbitrage is the practice of leveraging differences in knowledge ability, in the knowledge quality or access across the different contexts to create value. Yes. So this means that knowledge arbitrage means we are using the power of differences in knowledge to create value. When a product is manufactured, that product does not hold any value until the user gets the knowledge of the availability of the product and buys it, so that the product adds value to the organization. And that is the power of knowledge arbitrage. So organizations are leveraging knowledge arbitrage to borrow knowledge from other parts of the world and use that knowledge to create value. And this is how businesses are profiting. Without knowledge, organizations couldn't be making profits. So the power of knowledge arbitrage is the ability of an organization to acquire the knowledge and use that knowledge to create value. And that is how businesses are making profit, even exploiting price differences. It's because of the power of knowledge arbitrage to make profits. Yes, so cross-border knowledge arbitrage refers to the systematic use of knowledge gaps between countries or regions to generate economic, social, or competitive advantage. Yeah. So this means that knowledge transfer from one region to another or across borders can earn an organization a competitive advantage because the knowledge moves with value. Where there is knowledge, where there is information, then value is created. And that's why we see organizations are always making sure that they leverage the power of knowledge, and more specifically now using technology. And this technology is leveraged by organizations using their dashboards to update the relevant stakeholders about what is taking place in these organizations. So our consequential question comes: which role are our digital platforms and shared dashboards playing? Yes, having understood the power of knowledge, having appreciated that organizations are using the power of knowledge arbitrage to profit organizations to achieve competitive advantage, and having appreciated that digital platforms in the form of dashboards enable these organizations to acquire the powerful resource, which is knowledge, the consequential question comes: which role are our digital platforms and the shared dashboards playing? So we want to leverage the power of these digital platforms in the form of dashboards to help us leverage the power of knowledge. So these shared dashboards enable us to get centralized data access. So organizations use the digital platforms, their dashboards, to enable their stakeholders to get access to the required information. And that is the reason why powerful multinational corporations like MTN Uganda or MTN Kenya is always updating its target audience with any new package of the products that it develops on the market. It is always providing real-time updates, even when it makes a slight modification in its data packages, you will get that information on their website. That means they are using the power of digital platforms to share their knowledge in order to achieve a competitive advantage, because the target audience could not know what is taking place in the organization without timely communication to the target audience. Then these shared dashboards are leveraged by organizations to integrate data from multiple sources. And we appreciate the fact that business organizations are always at the war of achieving competitive advantage. And that is the reason why on several occasions, whenever you use a product from these multinational companies which are frontiering to maximize profits, you always get an online survey. Did you enjoy our product? What are those areas that you expect us to improve? So these organizations are using such dashboards to integrate data from multiple sources. And that means that these organizations use that data to analyze that data to make informed decisions. And if I am not mistaken, once we leave and go back to our countries after this conference, Kisii University may even send us a communication and appreciate us for attending this conference, and even seek further information. Where do you think we should improve further? And that information is not for granted, but the university uses that information and analyzes it to improve service delivery. So organizations use these dashboards to collect data from multiple sources and analyze this data to make informed decisions. So this means that these dashboards are research platforms that are used for data collection. Then the dashboards provide real-time collaboration. I want to bring a nearby scenario of collaboration between students and the management. These students have the student platforms, the student portals, and they use these portals to seek information from management, and management use these portals to communicate to students through publishing their results, publishing their status as regards their progress. And these platforms can also be used to share information with external stakeholders. Now, like this Kisii University has online platforms where the external stakeholders can seek information about the university, where they can learn about the university programs and when they should apply and the deadlines for the various programs. So these shared dashboards provide real-time collaboration. Okay, then they also support cross-institutional research teams. Now this is very important for collaboration. So organizations can use these digital platforms or these shared dashboards for collaboration in research purposes and other collaboration avenues with the different stakeholders. Then these shared dashboards are also leveraged for transparency and standardization. For an organization to be transparent, it must give timely information to the target audience so that the members have real-time information and they can use it to make decisions regarding the organization. Then shared dashboards have also enabled sharing knowledge across borders by enforcing standardized reporting formats and even making it easier to interpret results. So information which is shared on dashboards can be analyzed for the audience to make informed decisions. And this means that such information is always updated. How many viewers have viewed that information? What comments have they made? And basing on those comments, what decisions should the stakeholders make? So stakeholders make decisions basing on the information that is shared on these dashboards, and they also facilitate strategic coordination between various stakeholders, where the organization communicates to the stakeholders, and the various stakeholders can also communicate to the organization. Okay. Then these shared dashboards also help the organization to share knowledge through platforms like the Open Science Initiatives. Open Science Initiative, this is now published information. These are dashboards, Open Science Initiatives that consolidate data sets. So data can be collected through the Open Science Initiatives, and now organizations get this data and analyze it to make informed decisions. Okay. So I have shared a few. My time is getting up. I have shared a few. Let me share with you specifically how these dashboards can also constrain how it can also constrain the sharing of knowledge. First and foremost, the dashboards can create unequal literacy in digitalization. Yes, because not all of us have knowledge about how to leverage these dashboards. And this means that when you don't have the knowledge on how to use information from these dashboards, you can misuse the information, or else you may not even be able to access it, because not all of us are actually having knowledge about technology, now like the use of these digital platforms. Then there is also a constraint of security and trust concerns. Remember, this information is shared and it goes viral. So we can even have the cyber insecurity. So the information which is shared sometimes may suffer the problem of linkage, and it can be misused. So there is fear of data linkage, and it is one of the key constraints of these shared dashboards. Then there is also over-reliance on dashboards. Over-reliance on dashboards is also a constraint, because tacit knowledge may not be able to be shared. Tacit knowledge, the informal knowledge, which can be shared over during interactions, which is not through the use of technology. So there is over-reliance on these dashboards, which will limit the use of tacit knowledge, where even important insights are shared. So thank you so much, members, for attending this conference. I want to appreciate the distinguished guests. I began this discussion with the question of how do we tap the power of knowledge, and I want to conclude by saying that currently technology has driven the world, and organizations must leverage these digital platforms in form of the dashboards, as we have appreciated, in order to tap and get the required knowledge in the organization, which can be shared by both the external and the internal stakeholders. Thank you so much for listening to me. I bring you warm greetings from Kampala International University, Uganda. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Ri, for the wonderful presentation. Now we welcome both those online and in person for questions. Questions, please. And even comments. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. The presenter, you've actually done well, and going by what you've said, I discovered that the secrecy of data sharing is pivotal in an organizational productivity. Yeah, so my question now is, if data are shared and it is not something that is visible enough. For instance, what did I mean by this? You have a data that is going to be in a public space and is consumable. And also, there are also some data that will assist in terms of publication, like you have mentioned. And there are also some data that are going to be pivotal to your research. And before you know it, it is restricted based on the fact that it's either you have to pay in dollars or you have to pay in the country currency. So is there any eligibility or is there any means as which these data can be shared, if not by the means of paying alone? Do you understand my question? Aja, do you understand? You understand my question? All right, thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. Next person.
Okay, thank you so much for the wonderful question about data sharing. Yes, we hinted on the power of knowledge to achieve competitive advantage. And specifically, when you talk about data visibility, I learned that the direction to are the journals that have embargo, that are sold, that you must pay to access the information. So these publishers invest resources, and you know the intention of investment. In a business language, in an economic language, you invest in order to achieve a return. So this powerful resource, and there is no resource which can be free, and the knowledge is one of the resources that can be leveraged by organizations. And that's why this limited information, this restricted information is actually powerful information that must be subscribed to by individuals or organizations in order to be accessed. This means that limited knowledge is actually resourceful, and organizations must use it as one of their resources that the organization should acquire and leverage it to achieve the competitive advantage. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other? So we can conclude on this session, and we want to appreciate our presenter, Dr. Rehema. We've been doing the Factorial Club, we've been doing the 3 clubs. This one we can still do flowers. She's a lady, so I believe if we can give her flowers, it will be of importance. So kindly, let us make a big bouquet, bigger. Where have you gathered them from? Kenya, there's Nigeria, there is the Uganda itself. So 1, 2, 3, another one. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much.
Wow. Did you realize? Have you realized something unique today? She's the first female presenter since we began. I think we can do better than this. I want us to give a Kenyan appreciation for the ladies. You know, Kenyans are very romantic. If you didn't know. Yeah. Okay, he's saying he has not seen. Go and develop a research topic. Okay, shall we do it again? We want to carry a lot of flowers. In Kenya, we have from the coast, we go to west, we come to Rift Valley, we come to west, we come to Nyanza. And now we are in Nyanza. Can we gather them? Gather them. And let's give a round. When you go to Uganda, tell them you got flowers from Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so grateful just to understand the concept of digital platforms, the dashboards. Those who are drivers and you drive your car, there's one very particular aspect on your front there, which is a dashboard. And many times when you see the oil, the show of oil right on your dashboard, what do you usually do? You pull out of the road, isn't it? Because that is very sensitive. When you see the temperatures, you also pull out of the road. Thank you very much. I think in this research, we need to fix our eyes on the dashboard. We need to polish our skills on the digital platform so that we can make mileage in terms of our research. Thank you very much, Dr. Rehema. You have done very well, and we are very grateful. Now we are coming to a health break, and I want to draw your attention to a few elements. One, after this, we are going back for a photo out there. One reason why we are going for a photo is because we are branded. And if you didn't brand yourself, please, we make sure if you have it, just put it on top of what you have, and then we take the photo, and if you don't just like the t-shirt, then you fold it and return it into your bag, take it to your home as a souvenir, show people that you went to Kenya. But I'm sure it looks nice. What do you think? Very beautiful. Don't you think you would want one extra one when this is that you exchange? Yes. That's one. And then number two, after that, we go for tea. Yeah, we go for tea at the specific lawn where we have been taking tea. And today, don't take tea with the people you have been taking tea with. Yeah, get to another table. The Nigerians get tea with the Kenyans. Even Langat, you have had too much of Nigeria. Now try to go to America. Try to go to America. Okay, and yeah, we need that so that we kind of mingle and be able to share knowledge. Thereafter, ladies and gentlemen, we get to our groups. We want to have our final presentations or papers. Final presentation or papers. And I guess Njuki told me yesterday that there was need to you needed to represent or present again to a larger group because there was a demand for that paper of statistics. Did you say statistics? Yes, statisticians. You need to listen to Njuki. Njuki, you said you come from which university? Yes, that you need to get links with him so that we can connect. As a good teacher, I've said three things. 1, a photo. 2, tea break. 3, you go back to your paper presentations. And then we will do a rejoinder here, finally, for just feedback. We just want to hear feedback. You can go, we will give you an opportunity to go online just to apply the dashboard and those application tools. We want feedback for the committee. How did you like the conference? What are the things that you think we should factor them in for the next conference? And also, we need to hear from you many other suggestions, many other suggestions. What do you think about our paper presentations? What do you think about our keynote speakers? Yeah, we need that information. People online, are we together? People online, are we together? If so, one more chorus from you. Just respond.
Yes, we are.
Thank you.
Yes, we are.
Thank you. Now we are going for
Yes,
tip.
we are.
Thank you.
Yes, we are.
Wow. There are many. Shall we clap for the online and the diaspora? Thank you very much. We are going for tea break. Wherever you are, just pull your cup, coffee cup, and your cake and your biscuits. Enjoy them. And then we are going for photo. We don't know how to get you into this photo, but we will be able to capture the screen of all the online people and be able to document that you are in attendance. And then thereafter, we will get into the paper presentation groups. We have, give me this program so that I tell you the rooms. Today, we have room number 1. We have a chair there, Dr. Gordon Ouma. We have room 2, Professor Baswete Evans. And then we have room 3, Dr. Eliud Nyakundi. And then room 4, we have Dr. Mongare Samuel. And then room 5, we have Dr. Mongare Kingoina. We want all these groups now to finalize on presentations. And kindly, you are free to attend any room. If you are not presenting, you just to have a feel what is going on in those other rooms. Please be free to find out what is going there and listen. Probably, this is research, and you can query, you can ask questions. Hello, members, are we together? Are we together? Diaspora, I can see you. I can see Mary Mora. I can see Joanne B. Thank you. Philip Koga. I can see Ngure. Can see Lydia Kitonga. I can see James Muya. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate all of you. Please, this is a healthy break for a photo. Then we go for tea. And then we get to our groups. Any comments from the people in the diaspora or online? You have one chance, to just say something as we break. And shortly after that, if you give a comment, I want to invite our sister from Nigeria to pray for tea. A sister from Nigeria to pray for tea. If there's no comment from the diaspora. All right, go ahead. A mic for her, a mobile mic for her, just pray for tea.